Well, our Ron Jaworski has revealed his annual quarterback rankings, and the list, as usual, has most talking. But take a look at the top 10. Peyton. There, Brady, Rodgers, Breeze, Luck, Big Ben, Rivers, Ryan, Wilson, Flacco. Let's discuss the list, shall we, Bayless? Do you have a problem with anybody in his ranking?
Stephen A., I obviously have a huge problem with the number 5 in that list. I've told you before, and I'm not going to back off this theme on this show. I do not fathom the premature coronation of Andrew Luck. Maybe someday he will earn his way into the top 5, but I do not understand how a man I respect so much, Ron Jaworski, could already elevate him above a Ben Roethlisberger. I'm going to remind you again, RG3 outplayed Andrew Luck during Andrew Luck's rookie year, their rookie year. And in that year, Andrew Luck had the second most turnovers in the National Football League, just short of Mark Sanchez and the butt fumble. Last year in the playoffs, in 2 playoff games, Andrew Luck threw 7 interceptions in 2 playoff games. He was the reason they came back against Kansas City, because he was the reason that the hole got dug against Kansas City. And now allow me to use the case that Ron Jaworski makes for Roethlisberger against Ron Jaworski, citing from what he wrote here on ESPN.com. Even though Pittsburgh was 8-8 last year, after reviewing the tape, says Ron, I thought Big Ben had one of his best seasons in 2013. What he finds astonishing, to quote Ron Jaworski, is that now Ben Roethlisberger has started 156 games and won 67% of those starts. That is astonishing to me. And finally, where is money time in the NFL? It's in the red zone. Right. In the last 2 seasons, points out Ron Jaworski, Ben Roethlisberger has 27 touchdowns and 0 interceptions inside the 20-yard line. Think about that. 27-0 inside the 20 in the last 2 seasons. So he wasn't the reason Pittsburgh went 8-8 last year. But that should be the reason that, for now, Ben Roethlisberger would at least be 5 to Andrew Luck's 6. But that's just me.
Well, I'm not going to say that I concretely disagree with you about Big Ben Roethlisberger, because he is tried and proven. He is somebody that's a Super Bowl champion 2 times over. I got a lot of respect for Big Ben Roethlisberger. He's been relatively inconsistent over the last couple of years. The Steelers getting off to the slow start last year didn't help. He did come on strong in the second half of the season, but there are times, and I think that we've got to accept this, Skip. There are times we find ourselves looking at Big Ben Roethlisberger and saying, where are you? You need to get it done. You do find yourself saying that about him because you know what he can do. Yep. That's why you're asking yourself. You're not asking yourself like, oh, because he never gets it done. Yep. You're asking yourself, where is he? Because you've seen him do it before. And you're wondering, when is that guy going to show up in terms with the level of consistency again? Andrew Luck has 2 consecutive 11-5 seasons in his first 2 years in the NFL. Over that same time period, Ben Roethlisberger has been 8-8. In those 2 years that Andrew Luck has been 11-5, both years the Indianapolis Colts have gone to the playoffs. In the last 2 years, same time period, Ben Roethlisberger hasn't been in the postseason. That's a reality. And so when you look at...
Is that his fault?
Well, I'm not saying it's his fault. Collectively speaking, I think the Steelers' defense was too old. I think that's why they got a bit younger on the defensive side of the ball, particularly in the draft and what have you. We all, you know, Mike Tomlin's my favorite coach in the game. Even though he's not the best, that would be Bill Belichick. He's still my favorite. I just love him. In the end, the bottom line is you've got to do more on both sides of the ball and in special teams, and that's been a legitimate beef with the Pittsburgh Steelers. You can't say that about Andrew Luck. Look at Andrew Luck. His percentage in terms of his completion percentage increased by 6%. His interceptions were cut in half. All right, so there's a level of progression that we're witnessing with Andrew Luck. Went from 18 to 9 interceptions. Went from 54% completions to 60% completions as a passer. He's a legit 6'4", 6'5". He's 235 pounds. Big legs, strong, durable, reliable. And when you look at the athleticism, because he has the ability to run, to move a foot, and to really make things happen and move the chains with his feet, not just his arms. His intellect is unquestionable, and this is just 2 years in the league. So, yes, RG3 had a better rookie season than him, but then we saw what happened last year, albeit coming off of injury. You look at Andrew Luck. It's the throwing accuracy. It's the athleticism. it's the leadership, and you combine all of that with his youth, and you find yourself fantasizing about what he could be, because when you see young quarterbacks, especially...
I'll buy that. You fantasize about what he could be.
But wait a minute.
But what is he?
But it's also in a league where mobile quarterbacks seem to be in vogue. Andrew Luck is the prototypical quarterback. He can stand in the pocket and get it done, and gets it done that way and with his feet. And again, 11-5 with improvement and 2 playoff appearances, which to me gives him an edge over Big Ben, gives him an edge over Matt Ryan, gives him an edge over those guys. Now, if you want to come and say Colin Kaepernick, or you want to say a Russell Wilson because of the success that they've had,
no.
I'm just saying. But if you're not going to say that, then I have no problem with him being in number 5, because Phillip Rivers doesn't deserve to be ahead of him. Big Ben Roethlisberger, based on his last 2 years of production, doesn't deserve to be ahead of him. Matt Ryan doesn't deserve to be ahead of him.
Again, 7 interceptions in 2 playoff games.
What?
Explain, please.
No. Again, rough outing. Came back.
2 rough outings.
Hey, listen, came back.
2.
Listen.
7? What if Peyton Manning threw 7 in 2 games? We would be...
We would call it a disastrous night. We saw it in the Super Bowl. We saw it in the Super Bowl. A disastrous. I don't think it was his fault. His players, his teammates were scared to death. They were petrified on Legion of Boom. But I'm just saying, in the end, I look, and I told you this. You and I disagree from day one. Love RG3, but I told you, Andrew Luck's a bad boy.
Okay,
and he's only getting better. He's only getting better.
You said you look at Big Ben now and you say, where are you? You need to get it done. I said that several times last year during the regular season about Andrew Luck. Now, he was sensational in big games, big stage home games against Seattle and Denver, the 2 Super Bowl teams. I give you that. And he had a couple other sensational games. But he lost to Ryan Tannehill at home? Really? Did he do that? He lost a Monday night game. Go back and look at the tape of the Monday night game at San Diego. Tell me what you saw. Where are you, Andrew? Tell me what you saw in the 3 interception game against the St. Louis Rams. Tell me what you saw.
I understand.
Where are you, Andrew?
Put up those points, but what drives me crazy when you do stuff like that, I can say this. I saw Joe Montana lose a playoff game 49-3. It happens.
I'd already seen him win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, what we saw again, you saw
him win 2 before that.
You saw Roethlisberger win 2. But I'm saying to you, I also saw the last 2 seasons. Don't get me wrong. I haven't given up on Big Ben Roethlisberger. I think he'll show up this year and he'll do well.
So do I.
And I think durability is a question mark because he takes a lot of hits. Because he's willing to take those hits to buy himself time. You know, he'll stand in the pocket and wait. I mean, he's a receiver's dream because he'll wait to get you open now. I mean, he can fend off tacklers in a whole bit. But in the end, Big Ben Roethlisberger, based on the last 2 years, has either flatlined like this or gone down a little bit. And Andrew Luck's going this way. He's going this way.
You sure about that?
Yes.
I'm not sure about that.
I am sure about it.
I need to see it to believe it.
Andrew Luck's a bad boy.
You're projecting. You're fantasizing about what he can be.
He's 11-5 with 2 playoff appearances in his first 2 years.
But you, like Ron Jaworski said before that draft, oh, this guy's all-time great. So I think Ron is trying to validate. Yes, you did.
No,
you said he's going to be better than RG3.
I said to you that he is the #1 overall pick. He should be over RG3. And I've never wavered on that.
Okay, so clearly you're not objective when it comes to this list, right?
Because I said that I would pick him
over
RG3?
True. I was open. I acknowledge that I'm not objective about Johnny Football because I thought he should be the first pick.
How am I not objective? I believe that he's better than those guys right now based on what he's doing and what they've done. I don't think his resume compares to Roethlisberger. Of course not. Roethlisberger's got him beat by about 13 years. But I do believe that right now he's playing better football than Ben Roethlisberger has played.
If you at home want to see the entire list, head on to ESPN.com. It's Jaws' list there. Meanwhile, here's a question. The King has returned to Cleveland, but how much help did he get in making that decision? We find out after the break. We'll be back in just a few moments.